Yeah, Rusty here. We're just about to head up to the classroom. Come over from England with the Magic Academy. What an amazing place to be. I ran a couple of sessions yesterday, got a couple coming up now around just how coaches can help develop themselves. Often we'll do a session plan and we'll have lots of stuff around the players and how they're going to get better, but actually what's the experiments or the challenges we could set ourselves and our co-coaches. It's really interesting yesterday getting people to choose the card that they thought was their super strength and the one that's going to take them to the next level, and got a few people to give cards to other people that they knew about to share their strengths, and again use that just to delve into coaching, hopefully to be able to translate it into their own context. So it was stuff that was relevant to them, some of it was individualized, and then actually just been asking a few people throughout the day, and I'll do the same with the groups that we speak to later, just around what's the one thing you're going to go away and try, because without that we just stay the same, don't we? Banned from kicking, yes or no? Yeah, he's banned from kicking. How ridiculous is that, Dave? And there may have been opportunities, and I'm not saying you have to do all the kicking, but a little grubber from a forward a la George Smith would be sometimes quite helpful. Yeah, you actually spoke about that, didn't you? You said you had a light bulb moment when we were chatting about that in there. Tell me more.
We ban positions from kids. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. So Theo Dan played centre, 7, hooker. Think about the skills he developed at centre, probably around scanning, some of the stuff James said about fixing defenders. Think about the skills he developed at 7, decision making around the tackle, connecting with the backs, all that type of stuff. And then hooker, he's learning how to throw in and not kick. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. And Jamie George, of course, kicked a kick that led to England beating Australia. Sorry to mention that. Any more that people thought, oh, that was quite a cool one. I would like to share this one. Go on, young man.
I've got create an environment where the players give each other feedback.
Yeah.
But then I saw another one here, and this is the other one, find out how they actually want their feedback.
Yeah.
And so we do that a lot, but then I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm embarrassing someone if they don't want that actual feedback that way.
Yeah. I love the question that came up at the end around if you could tell me one thing that would help me work with you better. So I work with a lot of coaches. It's the first question I ask. So I was just speaking about Tyler at the Hurricanes. I said, my challenge to myself today, Tyler, is to work out how to get the best out of you live. If you could give me one thing that would help me, what would it be? He said, I'm a perfectionist. I'm unlikely to try stuff until I've worked out whether it's going to work, and it'll also probably take me 24 hours to do that, and then I'm likely to try it the next day. Well, that's helpful for me, eh? I asked John Mitchell. He said, Rusty, I've lost my last 3 jobs. I'm ready to change. I got stabbed and left for dead in my house. I'm living every day like it's my last. Well, that's pretty useful stuff, eh? Imagine that. So again, sometimes we don't ask those questions around feedback, or another way sometimes to help the kids scaffold that is, tell me the story about your best feedback. Tell me the story about your worst. And then we can probably take some stuff out of that we can then use. And then peer-to-peer, is so maybe just something to imagine as a coach. How many of my interactions are from me to them? How many are from them to me? And how many are from them to them? So if you were to code that in your session, that would give you some helpful information. So my mother-in-law is alcoholic, so we spend a lot of time metaphorically and physically trying to break in around the back. The reality is the front door needs to be open. If she comes to us and goes, I need help, that's completely different to us going, you need help. And then also peer-to-peer from 2 points of view. So if I asked everyone now, and I'm going to ask you all to do it, to no opt-out, based upon maybe you've chatted to some people here, you've maybe seen some badges, point to the person in the room that you go, actually, I would probably quite like to get to know that person a little bit better. So you've all got 5 seconds to think about it. 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Cool. Awesome. That's fine. Tell me more, because you shook your head, didn't you, as I said it? Why were you shaking your head? I'm interested in why that was.
Just a quick decision I had to make about, and I don't know these people.
Awesome. That's fine. By the way, I didn't expect everyone to do it, so it's cool. However, you were picked by someone.
Oh, no, I was pointing at John here.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, sorry.
Because he built him up, and imagine that.
Sorry, mate.
Sorry. Go on. Tell me why.
No, we were having a good chat before about New Zealand, Australia. We also met last year, and
Cool. Awesome. So the reason I do that is so peer-to-peer is super important. It's such a simple thing to do. As people, as you're coming in the huddle, I want everyone to point to the person who's been the best teammate so far today. At the Hurricanes, the last session of the day, point to the person who's coached you the most today, who's helped you get better the most. I was quite pleased that no coaches were pointed at because we actually want to get this environment where people are coaching each other. Point to the person who you think is the most underrated. Point to the person who, so there's a belonging element to this. Point to the person who's causing you the most trouble in defense. So with the maul stuff, point to the person who you're finding the hardest to deal with from a defensive point of view. Cool. Like, show me what that looks like. Sorry, but show me beats tell me. Show me what that looks like. Cool, okay, well, cool. What would your tip be for him to be able to deal with that? No, that's really helpful information. So, if James O'Connor's giving you the most trouble in attack, like, cool, tell me why. Okay, James, what's your advice for, like, defending yourself? Like, those are helpful things, eh? Any other cards, any others that people were kind of thinking about?
Let the players lead the session for at least 16 minutes. Trying to give them more ownership, more autonomy, more input. So stand back.
Yeah. What do we think the benefits would be? Probably buy-in. I think without like co-creation, there is no accountability. So I think you're much more likely to have accountability. When your boss does stuff to you, you're thinking, fuck you. Cool. What else will we get from that?
Chaos.
We might get chaos to start with, but we might scaffold it. So we might go, you three are going to run it. Do you need a bit of help? Do you need a bit of support with planning this? Cool. By the way, like James O'Connor just said, no, he would have been a better player if he was thinking back then as a coach. We are the ones stopping them. Leadership. Yeah. Exactly. So there's loads of stuff. I taught economics 2 years. I was learning how to teach, so the kids ran everything. Cool, at the end of a section, whoever can create the best revision resource wins a prize. Like all that. So I've got loads of cool revision resources I didn't even have to create, imagine that. They would run lessons, and guess what? They all did really well in the exams, and guess what? No other teacher ever asked me about it. So metacognition, like thinking, anyone that's a teacher, you'll be talking about it. I'm looking for some nods that people are talking about it in the classroom, and so just loads we can get from it. Like, I guess it depends what we think winning is, doesn't it? So when we're talking there about winning, exercise I'll probably do. So does anyone here coach together? You two coach together. So I could separate you two now and go, what's the team that you coach?
Western Force 19s.
Western Force 19s. So I could separate the two of you and go, right, I want you to write down and rank 1, 2, and 3. What are the things you're going to measure or attend to this season, and see if you write down the same things. Go. 1, 2, and 3, what's the most important stuff to get out of the Western Force under 19s? I'm loving this. But I did it with a team the other day, and I said, right, shout it out. And the first guy went, equal game time. The other person who looked like you, sir, went, scrummaging. Then the guy who said equal game time went, win the county cup, which is probably not, like, probably doesn't work. And then he went, lineouts. And like, so just that misalignment around what winning is. Without those frameworks in your head, it's pretty hard to coach or co-coach, isn't it? I'll show you a couple of things in a second. Yeah, do you think they're going to like get it right? No, me neither. It's cool, eh? It's great. So good. Are you cool? Are you guys cool? I really appreciate you doing this. This is awesome. And it'd be amazing if it's super aligned. Cool. What's number 1?
Higher element.
Good habits and behaviours. Super important.
Yeah, I buy into our theme, which kind of leads to the...
I love the way you've made it say it. Almost identical. Almost identical. Cool. What's number 2? Memories. Yes.
I had enjoyable. So.
Cool. I will take those as similar. Well done. And I'm thinking it should be number 1. What's number 3?
We had skill set mindset.
I had increased knowledge of the player's game.
Okay, cool, nice. That's okay, isn't it? Well, that's pretty good. And there'll be different things in different age groups. So like confidence around contact would be, a really important thing to develop. I don't know at what stage that gets brought in, but what I see is people completely misaligned on that stuff. So having some, frameworks that help you. This completely changed my view around coaching. So actually, if I go one step back. So I think environment's the most important thing, pure and simple. Measure myself on one thing, hugs in 5 years' time. So if I see someone 5 years later and they give me a hug, I'm all in. If they walk and avoid me, I probably got that wrong. Harry, I appreciate the hug earlier. Practice design is the most important thing to me. So if you get them on the wrong level of the game, if they're doing 3x2, 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 3, or they're going 49 times 63, what 77 times? So too easy, too hard, and that's different for different people. Then you've got to just be aware of yourself as a coach. Where am I standing? Who am I speaking to? So with the coaches recently, I've been going, okay, you've got 5 cones. They're the only 5 places you can stand in the session. I want you to put them and tell me where you've put them and why. Because the reality is, people aren't thinking about where they stand. So of course, if all the coaches stand on one side of the ball, you cannot see where 50% of the players are looking. And where people look precedes decision making. It's the most important thing. So you need to be aware. Corey Jane, one day, defence coach, you're not allowed, you have to stand on the attack side. Defence coaches are standing on the wrong side of the ball. End of conversation. Way too often, they're just generally behind the defence, like shouting stuff, instead of seeing where people are looking. So self-awareness, which players am I speaking to the most, which players am I speaking to the least? Then co-coaching, like if the 2 of us only speak to you, or even worse, we only speak to you and we contradict ourselves and we never speak to you, sir, for weeks. And by the way, that happens. So, unless of course you're intentional around your co-coaching, then I think we get into the magic of all this stuff. But within that, I think this, like having shared frameworks is super helpful. We had this with England Rugby and it made such a difference. It just cleared my head really. Creativity, solutions to problems, awareness of my strengths, what I'm good at, others, and of the game. Dealing with pressure, decision making is like really important. What are you going to look for that's going to help you make that decision? I asked Tom Williams, played fullback, if you could only look for one thing that would help you make better decisions, if I was a fullback, what would it be? He said, where 9 and 10 are looking. It's the most important thing to look for, Rusty. I was thinking, I don't know that. I didn't play fullback. And then self-organising. Can they run the stuff themselves? It's quite important, eh?